true. That is not factual because according to the list that have come out so far, every region so far, 16 of them have at least 2 nominations. And he zoomed into Greater Accra and said the NDC have not appointed enough persons from the or has not appointed anybody from the Greater Accra region, despite the fact that 3 persons have been nominated: Agnes Namomolate for gender, Sam George for communication, and then the regional minister designate himself. I then said there was no goddamn way in the nomination. This is something Roxanne Nelson, the first before, won't take kindly at all, accusing the minority of stoking tribal tensions in Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, this is Greater Accra. This is Greater Accra. A government should have a representation of all shades of opinion. All stakeholders must find space in a government. In this government, we are not seeing indigenous guns in this government. Yes, we are not seeing. We are not seeing sufficient indigenous advantage in this government. Oh, very well, Mrs.
Arise on a point of order that the minority leader, Speaker, with all due respect to the minority leader, the tangent that he's taking is very dangerous. The minority leader, the tangent he's taking is very dangerous for the cohesion of this nation. The president has not exhausted his appointment. The president has the executive authority to make over 7,000 appointments. Over 7,000 appointments. We run an executive president in this country, and guns will continue to occupy a very important and enviable position in this government. So the claim that is made on this floor, this hallowed floor, he must withdraw it, Mr. Speaker. Number one, he will withdraw. He will withdraw because there's no basis for putting out such an information. Mr. Speaker, you must urge it upon the minority leader to withdraw that comment. Yes. Mr. Speaker, second, Mr. Speaker, the business before us. Before you decided to invoke item number 1 on the order paper to ask it to read the communication from the presidency to the House, was for us to conclude the debate on the motion that has been ably moved by the chairperson of the appointments committee, the first deputy speaker, and seconded. We have agreed on the number of persons who will contribute towards the debate.
So that was the whole argument concerning, the regional imbalances there. Bakweku, you've been doing some work on whether or not the minority leader is right in terms of his accusations of President Mahama of not achieving regional balance in there. What have we found out? So we'll try and get Kwasante again for us to have a chat with him there. But this is the issue in Parliament today, where the minority in Parliament accused the President, John Dramani Mahama, for not sticking with his promise of achieving gender parity in terms of his appointment. But Kwasante is back on the line. Kwaku, you've been doing some work on whether or not, in fact, the minority leader is right in his accusation of President Mahama of not achieving regional balance. What do we know?
So it is not accurate per the data has so far been submitted to Parliament that the President has not fairly represented all the regions. And let me take you through the 16 regions. When you go to Upper West, the President has appointed 2 persons from that region. Upper East, 2 persons. Northeast, 2 persons. Northern Region, 4 persons. Savannah Region, 2 persons. Bono Region, 2 persons. Bono East, 2 persons. Otu Region, 2 persons. Volta Region, 4. Eastern Region, 3. Ashanti Region, 3. Ahafo, 2. Western North, 2 persons. Western Region, 3 persons. Central Region 3 persons, and the Greater Accra Region 3 persons. This is the list that includes all the persons nominated for regional ministers as well. But if you zoom into the specifics of only the sector ministers, if you go to Ahafo, there is Eric Opoku. Ashanti Region, Montaka Mubarak and Gilbert Adjei. Bono Region, there is Ahmed Ibrahim. If you look at Bono East, there is Elizabeth Ofoto Jare and Emmanuel Ohinie Jekum. You look at Central Region, there is Atufo Said and Felix Ofusukwache. Eastern Region is Dr. Edward Omani Boama and George Pariado. Greater Accra Region, Samuel Nati George, Agnes Namomulati. Northeast, you have Alhaji Baba Isifu Seidu. The Northern Region, Haruna Idrisu, Ibrahim Musala Mohammed. Region, Kofi Adams. Savannah Region, John Jinapo. Upper East, Dominic Ayeni. Upper West, Rashid Pelpo. Volta Region, Jifago Mashi. Samuel Okuduta Blakwa. Kwame Gavin Sagoja. Western Region, Emmanuel Ama Kofiboa. Emilia Arthur. The Western North Region, Kwabena Minta Kando. And so if you look at the data so far, every region of the 16 regions we have in Ghana have had appointments so far into the president's the list of nominees for ministerial. Of course, he's yet to appoint deputy ministers. But if you look at the names he has put out so far, every region is represented, Brief.
Now, the speaker presiding was called upon to rule on this particular debate. Did he take any decision on it?
Well, he did not take that invitation, except, of course, to urge the minority leader to take a cue. That is Second Deputy Speaker Andrew Ambakwensiama, who has been presiding whilst all this debate has been going on. It was also Comfort Doyo, who is currently the First Deputy Majority Whip, who came in quite forcefully to provide some answers, in her opinion, to actually dispel some of the claims that were made by the minority leader. But the Second Deputy Speaker, who has been presiding, did not take the invitation to rule out the minority leader for making these claims on the floor.
True, but I will respond to this gender and government issue, because when it comes to gender, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is the best that you can clap for, because when he was starting, he started with a woman as his vice president. And the woman is there to fight for women and hold the door for women to pass through. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama promised 60 ministers. And he's supposed to take 50% of the ministers from this chamber.
More than 50%.
More than 50 from this chamber.
Yes.
And we have 16 regions. So if even one region is given two.
So that is Comfort Doyo Kojo. There, Kweku, you heard her there. But as we speak, what is happening? What do we expect to happen in Parliament today?
Well, the House is currently considering the second batch of ministerial nominees.
Well, that's unfortunate there. We lost Kweku Asante. But let's go on to the phone lines now and also speak to, someone who's at the forefront of the women empowerment issue and bring her into this particular debate. Sheila Menka Premo, grateful to you for joining us here. You've listened to the debate on the floor of Parliament. What do you make of it? Do you think that the president is doing what is expected of him, or there's still more room for improvement?
Okay, thank you very much. So speaking on behalf of the Affirmative Action Bill Law Coalition, which is monitoring the implementation of the Affirmative Gender Act, we were very happy last week when out of 25 names that had come up for nominations, about 7 of the women, which made it 28%. But with the recent numbers, as of today, which is additional 3 regional ministers and 14 country ministers, there was no woman at all. And this has brought the percentage down to about 16 point something percent. And for us, that is not good enough.
Mm.
The expectation is that it should be either 30% or close to it. So I agree with the argument on the law of parliament, where the minority leader was indicating that there doesn't seem to be, the numbers are not going up as they should. And in addition to the affirmative action law, there's also Article 35 of the 1992 Constitution, which requires gender considerations and appointments. So we are hoping that the numbers will change and more women will be appointed in line with the law and to ensure inclusiveness.
So
men are a lot of the constitution. I mean, in our population, we have more women than men, and there are qualified and ready women who are prepared to serve. So we'll expect to see more being nominated for various posts.
So if are you looking at the entire government machinery, or you're looking at just the ministerial in terms of your hope to see more women appointed?
Well, we're looking at all sectors. Overall, we would have to do different types of assessments to see how far they are meeting up to the requirements of the law, the indicators indicated in the law. So yes, we are looking at the ministerial positions, which for now, it as if we are not so close to the 60%. We will look at the deputy ministerial positions. We will look at the MMDA, see the nature of the executives. We'll be looking at that as well. We'll be looking everywhere. Yeah.
Okay, so your target is not just on the ministerial, but on the entire government machinery.
Yes.
So if the government, the entire machinery, does not achieve the 30%, will you be disappointed?
Yes, we will. We will be disappointed. And we will continue with our advocacy to ensure that things change. We will be very disappointed. Because we had very high hopes.
What do you intend to do as women activists to try and get more women to be appointed into various government positions to help achieve that target of 30%?
We're a civil rights organization, so the advocacy is one of the key things that we hope. We are apolitical, so we have members from all the different parties, etc., etc. So we'll continue with advocacy and try and encourage women who are in a position to get key positions within this current dispensation, because you make themselves available. So we'll keep talking. And there's more to be done with the law itself to ensure full implementation. Okay? The law just came in September last year. There's a need for regulations or legislative instruments to put in place to make some aspects of it work. There's a need to talk to ensure that the body that is responsible for implementation, which is the Gender Equity Committee, which should be based at the Ministry of Gender, is set up as early as possible. Because currently we are talking and monitoring sort of informally. But this particular group is supposed to come up with a plan of action. They are supposed to have what they call baseline studies to see where the different sectors are. And then with time, monitor to see who is complying and who is not complying. There are steps that can be taken under the law to feel compliant.
Okay.
So we as CSOs will continue with our work.
But this is the time in history where we have a female as our vice president. If you don't get 30%, mustn't her appointment or her election as the vice president, make up for the, probably if you get around 25% and she is there, won't it compensate for that gap in terms of the ministerial and other appointments?
Well, having the vice president is a big plus, I must say that. It's a very big plus. We are very happy with that. But we also have to be concerned with the other sector. If they're not, we have to be concerned with the other sectors and still push to ensure that we have more and more women also appointed. But we are very happy that there's a female president for the first time in Africa.
All right, lawyer Sheila Menkapre, I'm grateful to you for joining us here on Top Story. And she is a women rights activist. She is a legal practitioner as well. She is the Women Institute for African Women in Law. But the president has also made more nominations into ministerial positions. And my colleague James Aveji joins me in studio with the list that we've gotten today. James, what do we know?
Well, so the president has made some more ministerial appointment to the sector ministries as well as the rest of the 3 regional ministers that were supposed to be appointed. So for Upper West region, President Charles Lwanga is going to represent the Upper West region. Bono region minister designate is Joseph Adai Akwabwa, and Francis Owusu Entry is going to the Bono East region. For the ministers of state, we have Ministry of Defense. The minister designate for defense is Dr. Edward Kofi Omani-Boama. You know that he was the director of elections and research for the NDC in the elections. Communications, digital technology and innovations will be represented by Samuel Nate George. Sam George is the Emmanuel Kofi Ama Kofi Boa will be going to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. For the Ministry of Sports and Recreation, Kofi Idi Adams of Boem has been nominated. Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment, Abdul Rashid Pelpo, one of the oldest MP in the House now, is nominated for that ministry. Kwabena Minta Kando is nominated for the Ministry of Health. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed is nominated for Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology. Ministry of Transport is Joseph Bukari Nikpe, and Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, MP for Asamase, is going to the Ministry of Interior. Ministry of Foreign Affairs to Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources for AJ Kenneth Gilbert. He is not an MP and going to that ministry. Emmanuel Kojo Ejekum, an MP, is going as Minister of State in charge of special initiatives. Minister of State in charge of government communications is Felix Kwachi Ofosu, and last but not least is Isifu Seidu. He is been nominated as Minister of State in charge of climate change and sustainability. So that's the number of ministerial appointments we've seen so far, beside the appointment we've seen to the presidency, the presidential staffers and all of that. This is what we have today, Brace.
Interesting. Let's bring in Genevieve Partington. She is country director for Amnesty International. They've been speaking on this appointment of women into government as well. Genevieve, grateful to you for joining us here. Now, the issue has come on the floor of Parliament where the minority is accusing the government or the president of not appointing more women. But this is a time we have, you have been asking the president to try and appoint more women. In fact, you gave some advice on the 9th of January. What do you make of what has happened from then till now, that we've had quite a substantial amount of ministers being nominated? Still top story. I'm told she's still on the line. Okay. This has been Top Story, brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. We have Partington back with us. Genevieve, grateful to you. What do you make of the appointment so far? You gave some advice to government. Do you feel government is taking on your advice or not? And what would you do next?
Okay, so great. Thank you so much. First of all, I think at the beginning, we were very hopeful. We saw that there was about 28% representation with the first appointment. However, with the lists that have come out today, unfortunately, the percentage has dropped to even below 17% of women representation. So currently, Amnesty International Ghana, and I speak for, the Affirmative Action Law Coalition, because we're part of that, we're actually quite disappointed that currently the percentage has really dropped in women representation. I understand that this has a lot of intricacies, appointing persons, because there has to be representation as well. There has to be that inclusivity. But I can say that, for example, cabinet is mostly men. Very few women are in cabinet. Currently, regional ministers, mostly men. And then, although some of the office of the president, the presidential staff, quite a few are women, I believe we really wanted to take positions, ministerial positions, and that has definitely been a disappointment currently. We are hoping that maybe the deputy ministerial positions might carry more women, because the problem with this is that if government does not lead the way in women representation, it's going to make our work very difficult for us when it comes to implementing with private sector and public sector in general. So government has a huge role to play to ensure that they toe the line, they lead the way, pave the way in women representation.
And as you're a member of the Affirmative Action Law Coalition, what will you be doing from now till for you to ensure that you achieve your goal?
We have been meeting as a coalition. We've been discussing. Our WhatsApp group is extremely active. We monitor, we post on social media just to show that, we are watching with our eyes wide open what is going on. And we are just really urging government to please ensure that there's that minimum 30%. Yes, we have until 2026 to achieve the 30%. However, if we're already doing 17% or less right now, it is definitely not the best way to go. So we'll continue our work in terms of implementation. We are waiting for the Ministry of Gender. Once the vetting is done and he gets into office, the Gender Equity Committee has to be established in order to start monitoring women representation in Ghana.
Okay, all right. Genevieve, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. This Genevieve Partington is a country director for Amnesty International. This has been Top Story. Up next is Newsnight.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Newsnight. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and over 30 affiliates across the country. Coming up.
Well, tonight, education unions prepared to march forward with a raft of demands ready to confront the newly vetted Minister of Education designate, insisting their pressing issues can no longer be put on hold.
Is at tier 2 for about almost 10 months now. Government has not paid. There's no honeymoon.
Yes, our condition of service has actually expired. I think the focus is duly on teachers. There are teachers and the non-teachers involved in the education space.
We hear from the minister designate on how he intends to deal with the pending industrial actions.
We will deal with it what is available in the national kitty. We will do our best to keep the industrial peace of the country and keep the peace within the education sector and many other sectors of the economy for the good of our country. Thank you.
And President Mahama fulfills the 14-day deadline for announcing his cabinet after releasing the final list of ministerial appointments.
People should be free to express their views. President Mahama is committed to same, and that's why you find that even people who have criticized him severely in the past have been appointed to play some role in this government. Indeed,
clashes that claimed 6 lives.
7 of the suspects were remanded into prison custody. Just this morning, the military and the police again went to Shiari based on intelligence, and they've arrested quite a number of people, about 50 of them.
We're live on the grounds. Also, Wales has families of 7 out of 9 miners killed in a violent military clash demand justice and thorough investigations to ascertain circumstances leading to their death.
Ompese ne ebra na omuntimi mabra we meto ye so se ne fight you na wo so musu ye bibi nipa kro ma order se wo mun shoot so omunye de no Nyankopon hata suri ene be jaji ye no omuntem asem amaye Nyankopon ka ban na koma no njire ye chi no mboa yen.
And in business,
we'll tell you more on appointment coming in as President John Mahama appoints the former General Manager of Metro TV, Randy Abbey, as Acting Chief Executive of Kokobot.
My name is Fostina, Sarfo, and I'm doing this with
Kenneth, Gyasi. Details after this.
There's a business in every woman, from the young lady brimming with exciting and novel business ideas to the market queen managing her empire. There's the she architect, quantity surveyor, realtor, business consultant, crafting dreams into reality, and the multitasking mom, seamlessly blending work at home. The entrepreneur, meticulously checking stock, to the corporate woman, sealing deals on the move. Indeed, there's a business in every woman. Introducing Telecel Women in Business, our initiative to empower women-led and women-owned enterprises. Benefit from tailored activities, networking, business and technical support, free webinars, trainings, and more. To join this initiative, be a female-led business and a Telecel business customer. Visit telecel.com.gh/business to register now.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Thanks for choosing us. Now, tonight, education unions prepare to march forward with their raft of demands, ready to confront the newly vetted Minister of Education designate Haruna Idrisu, insisting their pressing issues can no longer be put on hold. Now, over the past year, the sector has been rocked by several industrial actions and numerous strike threats from groups like the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, the University Teachers Association of Ghana, the Senior Staff Association of the Universities of Ghana, and the Ghana Association of the Universities Administration, as well as Ghana National Association of Teachers. Well, their demands are centered on poor conditions of service and unpaid allowances. During his vesting, Haruna Idrisu pledged to prioritize addressing these challenges. Let's listen to him.
We will work with them. Industrial disputes are inevitable. And for a developing country like ours, you naturally should anticipate some labor unrest, some conflict between labor and government on matters with borders on their conditions of service. For the universities, the statutes of the university provide how council can negotiate them. There were contentious issues about book and research allowance. But more importantly, it's always a question of government timeously responding to agreements that have been made with trade unions and organized labor. If you say that you want to revise allowances, it takes effect from 1st June. For many of them, they expect that by 1st July, that is ready, at least to complement what they call their meager or inadequate salary. So the finance minister can, at many instances, I've had that experience with the Honorable Seth Tekpe then when he was Minister for Finance. And Chair, if you permitted me, I'll just share this example. There was an instance where judicial service workers embarked on strike action. At the time, Theodora Georgina Wood was the Chief Justice of the Republic. And in a meeting that President Mahama requested Julius Debra, Chief of Staff, together with myself and others to engage, I had to ask the Honorable Seth Tekpe that does he appreciate what it means when judicial service workers are on strike? if somebody was entitled to a bill, and I'm sure now minority leaders should be interested in this, if the courts don't sit, you'll be putting the person into a human rights crisis. At the time, Justice Theodora Wood related to me that, look, in our IGF, there's about 38 million. We cannot touch it because the Ministry of Finance have not granted us permission to use IGF. It was when my attention was drawn even to a major constitutional deficiency, and I'm happy to bring it to your attention. At the time, judicial service workers, even up till now, unlike Parliament, you have your CI 118. This country have not treated the judicial organ of state with that. They don't have that. I think Article 1582 of the Constitution should deal with that particular matter. They are entitled to it. It was then I got the advice then from the Chief Justice that, look, let's engage the Minister of Finance, let him allow you 30-40% to use the IGF so that sometimes when these fires erupt, you can deal with it at your own level. So I want to believe that I do not anticipate. I know that SITAC is unhappy. I know many teachers' union are waiting for President Mahama to assume office, and they will say our outstanding allowances have not been paid. We will deal with it, what is available in the national kitty. We will do our best to keep the industrial peace of the country and keep the peace within the education sector and many other sectors of the economy for the good of our country. Thank you.
Right, let's have a conversation on the back of this and speak to the National President of the Ghana Association of University Administrators, Michael Owusu-Ansah. Thank you very much for your time. That's the Minister Designate for Education. All these things that he has outlined. Satisfied? Hello, Michael. Right, let's bring in the national chairman, George Anson, who is joining us via the telephone lines. George, thank you very much for joining us tonight. You've had the Minister Designate for Education, Haruna Idrisu. Are you satisfied with all these plans that he's outlined?
Well, let me first of all greet you and all listeners, and also congratulate the minister that he's made for education. We welcome him. Yes, I heard some portion of what he said. Yes, I wouldn't say I'm satisfied or not, because it's one thing saying it and one thing doing it. We have been in this business for quite some time, and at times you hear sweet words, but when it comes to implementation, then it becomes a problem. We are just praying and hoping that this time around, what he says or what we hear them say, they will do. And I think we'll all be happy to build a better nation for all of us.
Some of your biggest demands usually are demands on the conditions of service and unpaid allowances. Are you sure or satisfied that the Minister of Education designate is going to see that all these areas are cleared and your demands from the previous administration, which have been carried into this administration, will be met?
Yes, we are hoping so. More so because the minister has been a minister before. He has been in government, and he knows the ins and outs of government. So we are expecting that something better will come from his desk, so that there will be peace in the educational sector. Because we have issues that are pending, and we are hoping that as he assumes office, he will act on it expeditiously, so that there will be peace.
Right. So what are those issues you would want him to address immediately he assumes office as the Minister of Education?
One pressing issue currently is our signed condition of service. We have signed the agreement, but the implementation could not take effect. We signed it in November, and we're expecting that it will be implemented in December. But maybe because of the election or something, it has still not been implemented. So, as one of the things that we expect to see or hear is that he has liaised with the Ministry of Finance to clear that thing. More so on our tier 2. Most of the time you hear us going on strike because of our tier 2 deduction. That money is our money that government has taken. But instead of reimbursing the unit that invest our money for us, it takes years for government to pay. And that has been a worry to us. So we are expecting that as we stand now, I think government is owing us about almost 10 months.
Okay.
And we are expecting that as soon as they assume office, they will remit that money to us to be able to invest, so that when people are going on strike, they can go home good.
Okay, George Anson is the national chairman of the Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana. Let's get more reaction from the education unions. Fostina.
Yes, let me bring in now the national president of the Ghana Association of University Administrators, Michael Owusu-Ansah. Thank you so much for your time here on Newsnight. We've heard from Haruna Idrisu serve notice that they will uncap the GET fund and also reimburse the first year students who have paid for their fees already. Your initial reaction?
Yes, it's a laudable initiative, it's a laudable policy, and we want to congratulate the Minister of Education, and we want to assure him of the willingness of the university administrators to partner him in delivering all his initiatives. We want to believe that the Minister has done the calculation and has done the numbers, and they are clear. Currently, when we say admission fees in the university system, we don't seem to have any item called admission. Perhaps what is being described as admission fee is the fee that is stated in the admission letters of students. And these fees vary from program to program. And we also learned that excluding some programs in the university in the policy. He mentioned medical education. We don't know which other programs. But that may sound a little discriminatory because there are some...
Why exactly?
There are some students in these so-called professional programs who are equally in need of support from government. And so university administrators would have wished that a baseline bursary is made available to all students, so that beyond that baseline amount, if the program is charging 6,000 and the government is offering 3,000 to every student, that will help, so that all students are assisted to cover their fees. But to exclude some students may be a little discriminatory.
As administrators, what exactly would you like this government to prioritize?
Yes, certainly he's uncapping GET fund, but that is also looking at the infrastructure. We think that infrastructure is only one of the elements in teaching and learning environment. For us as administrators, we are also looking at the human resource motivation and the human resource workforce in the system. Currently, financial clearance to recruit has been a challenge, and we are expecting that the minister will agree that if some staff have exited at any point in time, in addition to the additional staff required, at least we need to maintain the staff level. So automatic approvals to be given to universities so that as and when staff exit from the system, we can replace them and that financial clearance can only come for new employees. We are also looking at the minister not looking at only one side of the workforce. Often the attention and the priority appears to be only on the teachers. We know from the manifesto launch that there are incentives promised for the teachers, but that cannot be the only direction for the motivation. The non-teaching staff are equally expecting that whatever incentive and motivation that is given to the teachers is also extended to the non-teaching staff, so that we can have harmony and we can have stability in the system. We know that there's plans to hold educational conference. We are anticipating that within that session we will have a separate session for tertiary education. So that the issues confronting tertiary education can be thoroughly addressed, so that going forward we can have a roadmap that we can all commit to in its implementation.
Okay, thank you so much, Michael Owusu-Ansah. He's National President of the Ghana Association of University Administrators.
And the GET Fund came up during the vetting, and government says their promise to uncap GET Fund will see the light of day as soon as the Minister Designate for Education is approved. We can listen to Haruna Idrisu from the vetting yesterday.
The Ghana Education Trust Fund has done its part. In the last few years, it has suffered because of the decision of then Minister of Finance to cap it. President Mahama and the Minister of Finance have gone public, and I join them in saying that we will uncap the GET Fund to free additional resources to support robust infrastructure development.
Well, also, Haruna Idrisu has assured that their promise to absorb the fees of freshers in the universities will be implemented this academic year.
President John Dramani Mahama intends to increase investment in the education sector to respond to the infrastructure deficits of the education sector, beginning from preschool through basic primary education to free secondary school and to the tertiary level. Enormous financial investment will be made to continue with major initiative that was done. Chair, fortunately for me, this is a sector which has the best of expertise. I intend to rely on their varied experiences and expertise to guide me in the formulation of policy, the improvement of policy. But Mr. Speaker, let me assure this committee that President John Dramani Mahama has no option to cancel free senior high school.
Right, we still stay with President John Mahama's ministerial nominations, and he has unveiled his final ministerial nominations, staying true to his commitment to complete all appointments within 14 days of his administration. While not constitutionally required to set a timeline for ministerial nominations, President Mahama has successfully finalized the selection of his ministers and cabinet members. Now, the announcement was made in a statement issued on Tuesday, the 21st of January 2025, and signed by the president's acting spokesperson, Felix Kwache Ofosu. And joining me in the studio with details of the appointment is my colleague, James Aveji. James, before you give us details of the appointment, what does the Constitution say about the formation of the cabinet?
Well, when you look at the Constitution in Article 76, 1, it actually, gives definition to what cabinet is, which it says comprises, paraphrasing actually comprises the appointment of persons to the seat of government, as well as the appointment of at least 9 and at most 12 ministers of state. And so give or take, we are supposed to have at least 15 sector ministers, and then appointment to the seat of government.
Okay, and now give us details of the list of the last appointments.
So 2 appointments actually happened today. First one are the appointment to the presidency, which include 1, Mrs. Joyce Bawa Muktari, Presidential Advisor and Special Aide to the President; Stanislav Hwese Dogbe, who is Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of Operations; Nana Oye Bampoado, Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of Administration; Seth Emmanuel Tekpe, who is Presidential Advisor on the Economy. Remember, he was the past Finance Minister under the first term of President John Mahama.
Yes.
Professor Francis Dodu is Presidential Advisor, National Anti-Corruption Program. Larry Gbevlo-Late is Special Envoy to the Alliance of Sahelian States. Nanaya Jantua the former General Secretary of the CPP, has been appointed as a presidential staffer. Beatrice Anangfio has been appointed as presidential staffer. Shamima Muslim has been appointed as deputy presidential spokesperson.
Right.
And lastly, Professor Kweku Danso Boafo has been appointed as the cabinet secretary for President John Dramani Mahama's cabinet.
Okay. James, thank you very much for bringing us that details.
Well, still on the appointments, Felix Kwachiofosu, the acting spokesperson to the president, has described President John Mahama's appointment as a demonstration of his maturity and commitment to embracing diverse perspectives in leadership.
People should be free to express their views. President Mahama is committed to same, and that's why you find that even people who have criticized him severely in the past have been appointed to play some role in this government. Indeed, I read Professor H. Kwesi Prempe's post yesterday in recognition of his appointment to chair the Constitution Review Committee. And he made a point that he was quite a critic. I must say that he's a mild critic, but he was a critic nonetheless. There are others in there, Dr. Esi Ansa, who, by the way, is the daughter of PAV Ansa.
Yes, true.
Perhaps the fiercest critic of the PNDC NDC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody who was more critical of PNDC NDC than him. Dr. Gyasi Ansa was part of Occupy Ghana. She was fiercely critical. Indeed, she was the one, if I'm not mistaken, who held aloft that placard that said that the king was naked during the Occupy Ghana protest. Subsequently, she took part in some public forum symposia and her views. I can bet you that President Akufo-Addo will never give a position of any form to somebody like that in his government. But President Mahama did not have a difficulty. In fact, all the people
that's also a way of winning people over.
No, it's not necessarily a way of winning. It simply means that we are going for
it's another way.
No, we are going for the best and brightest. We do not anticipate that Professor H. Kwesi Prempe will suddenly become a sympathizer of the NDC simply because of this. He has gravitas. He's seen it all in life. He doesn't need this to be lured to follow the. I don't think that Dr. Esi Ansa will be tempted to join the NDC because of this.
But Felix,
the point, the fundamental point, is that under this administration, unless very clear red lines are crossed, nobody is going to suffer retribution for airing their views, whether pleasant or unpleasant.
Right, James, give us the last batch of the appointments that were made today.
So this consists of the ministers at the ministries, as well as, there are 3 outstanding regions. Upper East has Pausing Charles Luanga. Bono region has Joseph Adai Akwabwa, and Bunu East has Francis Ose Entry. For Ministry of Defense, Dr. Edward Kofi Omani Buama. Ministry of Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations, Samuel Nate George, the MP for Ningo Prampram. Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Ama Kofi Bua. Ministry of Sports and Recreation, Kofi Adams of Boem constituency. Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment has Abdul Rashid Pelpo. Ministry of Health, Kwabena Minta Akando. Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed. Ministry of Transport, Joseph Bukari Nikpe. And Ministry of Interior, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak is in charge of that. Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources, AJ Kenneth Gilbert. And there are 3 ministers of state, one in charge of special initiatives, who is Emmanuel Kojo Ejekum, and Minister of State in charge of government communications, Felix Kwachiofosu, who's been signing all of this appointments. And finally, Minister of State in charge of climate change and sustainability, Honorable Isifu Seidu, who is also an MP in Parliament.
Okay, thank you very much. We understand there's some interesting developments emanating from Parliament. Fostina, what's happening?
Well, it's a good time to go there because Parliament has approved the first and second batch of John Mahama's ministerial nominees. The 2 batches are made up of 6 ministers. It includes the Finance Minister, the Energy Minister, the Education Minister, the Roads and Highways Minister. And this paves way for the President to formally swear in the nominees into office. Now, let me bring in Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante. He joins us live from Parliament with details. Kweku, let's start from the minority leader, Alexander Fayomarkin, and he seconded the nominations. But what exactly were his concerns on the floor?
Well, according to the leader of the NPP group in Parliament, while they believe on their side that all the persons so far haven't come to the floor are competent enough to take up the positions, they will hold their feet to the fire in ensuring that all the promises that the NDC made to the Ghanaian people prior to the 2024 election will be 100% and fully delivered. For instance, it zooms into education and says that while the NDC is promising that when it comes to its policy of free tertiary education, their plan is that the students should pay the money and that it will be refunded to them. They believe that that is a breach of the promise that party made. But generally, his concern and his warning to the party that they will hold their feet to the fire and ensure that they deliver on the promises they've made on the campaign trail prior to the 2024 election.
And what's the response of the majority side, though?
We've been hearing from a number of the NDC MPs who have been speaking and saying that when it comes to them and under the leadership of John Dramani Mahama, they are always ready to take constructive criticism, but they are also willing to bring on board all sections of the Ghanaian society to deliver on the promises that they have made. And this is that these persons that have all been nominated by the president, 42 so far, the parliament approves all of them together with their deputies, those ministries that will have deputies, and they get to work, they will deliver on the important issues that they have set out to deliver. And so when it comes to the criticism so far that have been raised by the minority, they believe that they are only speaking because they want to ventilate an opinion to the felt that they are in parliament given their small number. And so that is some of the counter that have come there. And they say that all the persons put out by John Dramani Mahama shows that NDC have quality men and women who will go out there and deliver on the promises that the party made to the Ghanaian people during the last election.
The individuals that we expect to be vetted this evening.
Yes, already Ahmed Ibrahim, the minister designate for local government, religious affairs and chieftaincy, has been vetted, and it's left with two more people. That is Agnes Namomolati, gender, children and social protection, and then so all these two persons all also be vetted today. Elizabeth Okudare for trade, industry, and agribusiness. Those two persons are expected to be vetted this very evening as part of the three that were set down. I can confirm to you that the chairman and his members have already taken their seats. The precincts of parliament is filled with so many people coming in to support some of these nominees. And any moment from now, these two persons will also be vetted. And then we expect that tomorrow their reports will be ready to be put on the floor. Between now and next week, Monday, the appointment committee has scheduled to vet all the persons that have been nominated, with the exception of those whose appointment were made today and were referred to the committee. So from Monday, when the list of those who have already been nominated, that is the first and second batch, including the regional ministers, will be exhausted, then those who have been nominated today will also start from next week, Tuesday. And so the expectation and indication I'm getting from the committee is that they expect that by next week, Friday, they would have vetted all 42 senior nominees and put the reports on the floor for a vote, and then John Dramani Mahama can start also making appointments for deputy ministers.
Thank you so much, Kweku Asante, for providing us that update. Well, you should be watching the Joy News channel and listening to Joy 99.7 FM, because we will be bringing you that vetting of Agnes Namomolati, a minister designate for gender, children and social protection, as well as Elizabeth Ofosojare. She's minister designate for the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. And it's a good time to do business. George Riafi joins me after this quick breather.
Well, of course, coming up in business, talking about appointment, there are more that is coming in, and of course, you can talk about sports administrator Dr. Randy Abe is heading to Cocoa Board as its chief executive in acting capacity, and also be exploring the challenges that lie ahead for the finance minister, Dr. Atuforson, following head's approval by Parliament just a while ago. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationers, Interstanks, and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
It's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Yafini gave us the vibe. Now, Inshona Chile makes you thrive.
Yes, so it's time to enjoy, Charlie. Buy or renew your motor insurance and boom! Free fuel coupons and airtime for your sweat. Who no like enjoyment?
From January to June 2025, Enterprise Insurance gives you more reasons to smile on the road. Insure today and enjoy free fuel coupons for your car and airtime for your phone.
Free fuel? Airtime too? Hey! Enterprise Insurance, always your advantage.
Insure not Chile. It's simple. Insure and enjoy. Ready to secure your peace of mind and experience the fastest claims payment? Visit any of our branches or agency outlets nationwide. Connect with your insurance broker or enjoy the convenience of buying your insurance online through the Enterprise Advantage app today. Terms and conditions apply. Enterprise, your advantage.
Businesses know how important it is to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is licensed to provide medical insurance services to corporate organizations and SMEs. We also have international LH Blue cover and TPAs to cushion you. Multinational companies, factories, and government agencies focus on your business while Apex Insurance takes care of your health. Visit Apex Health Insurance office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, Kumasi, opposite Prempeh College, Sofo Line, and Takrady Market Circle. For further inquiries, call 0501 562 962 or 0501 552 495. Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
You're welcome back to business on Newsnight. And the President John Mahama has appointed the Sports Administrator Dr. Randy Abbey as Acting Chief Executive of Kojo. There is more in this report about the personality Dr. Abbey and the challenges ahead.
Dr. Randy Abbey, until his appointment, was the General Manager of Metro TV and host of popular current affairs show on that network, Good Morning Ghana. He is also the Chairman of the Black Stars Management Committee. He also holds an MBA in General Management from the Australian Institute of Business, Australia, a certificate in HR Management and Public Administration from the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA, as well as Advanced Certificate in Public Relations, Advertising and Marketing from the Ghana Institute of Journalism. For many, Dr. Randy Abbey's job is cut out for him at Kojo. What can he do, together with the Greek minister, to improve yields, as well as work to improve the fortunes of cocoa farmers at a time that the bean has crossed more than $11,000 per ton?
And that is a business desk report. Let's still stay on appointments that are coming in. And the president has also appointed a senior partner at accounting firm KPMG, Anthony Sarfo, as the new commissioner of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Until this announcement, he had a core function, including giving strategic direction and managing operations to ensure delivering corporate objectives for the finance and accounting group. This announcement is coming at a time when the immediate Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Gyasi, announced that she is resigning as the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority after more than 5 years of service with the authority. We're coming up with more, and many people, he also has to work now to look at how he can deal revenue shortfalls and also work to ensure that there is compliance in the country when it comes to businesses honoring their tax payment. And just an update that the president has appointed a senior partner at accounting firm KPMG, Anthony Sarfo, as the new Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Now, Parliament has approved the first batch of ministerial nominations by President John Mahama. But what will be the many challenges that lie ahead for some of these ministers, especially when it comes to the Finance Ministry? There is more in this report.
Let's first start with the Finance Minister, Dr. Atuforsen. The immediate challenge will be how he moves quickly to scrap some taxes, as promised during the political campaign. One can talk about the COVID-19 levy and the betting tax. But some individuals have argued that looking at the current challenges facing the economy, can government really go ahead to remove these taxes? Dr. Atuforsen has also promised to cut government expenditure to help control the rising debt. But can this be done looking at the current situation facing the economy? Let's turn to the Energy Ministry. That will be headed by John Jinapo. Well, for some individuals, how can he move quickly to stabilize the power situation following argument that the country has limited supply of fuel to power the country's plant?
And that is a business desk report. Now, traders appear to have different reasons for rising prices of foodstuffs on the market. Now, it follows recent revelations by the Ghana Statistical Service that linked rising food prices to high cost of transportation. But these market women, the Joy Business has been engaging here in Makola Market, have a different view. Let's hear their thoughts.
5 months in Shunto, Tama Borden and Tuminia Cassie, Tama price and Akokosolo. For 5
months now, it hasn't rained, so the plantain are unable to grow in size, and the prices have also increased. The prices were low during the raining period. The rain pattern is the reason for the price hike.
Oh, yeah, my neighbor, Uncle. But last year, no, in Suno Anto.
Last year, the rains that resulted in the high price of the yam. August is the season for yam, and it could be sold for as low as 3 for 10 cedis, but it is now 3 for 50 cedis or 25 cedis.
But last year, the one of me 50 cedi, me 25.
And those are views of some market traders linking the rising prices of foodstuffs to more of seasonal effect than the cost of carting or transporting their foodstuffs from the farm gate to the various markets. Now, Chief Executive of Savings and Loans firm Opportunities International, also former board chair of the Ghana Association of Savings and Loans, Kwame Osubuatin, has expressed worry about the high cost of credit in the country. He argues that it is not healthy for the growth of the sector, hence the need for government to address the current macroeconomic challenges. He has been speaking to Joy Business.
I think that is a whole ecosystem of the market indicators. It doesn't rely on just one individual institution to say, I'll bring cost of credit below 20%. The whole ecosystem has to come together. So you see inflation, the forex, the cost of doing business, utilities, all our branches. So we have 38 branches. If you don't have power, what you have to do is that you have to run 38 generators. across this. And if the fuel is also high, there's a multiplier effect on that. So the whole ecosystem of the economics of running operations has to work in favor of all of us. It is in that situation that now institutions will begin to feel that their margins are not squeezed for sustainability reasons, so that you don't pass on this cost to the customer.
Kwame Osubuating is the chief executive of savings and loans firm Opportunity International, as well as the former board chair of the Ghana Savings and Loans Company Association. Let's turn our attention to the stock market. If you're a holder of Total Ghana, today each share that you're holding was up by 6 pesos and is now worth 13 Ghana cedis. 37 pesos. That's all for business on Newsnight. Back to my sports friend, and Dr. Randy Abe is going to Kokobot.
Yes, he's the president of Heart of Lions, Ghana Premier League side Heart of Lions, and also the chairman of the Black Stars Management Committee. He's been appointed by the president, John Mahama, to become the acting chief executive officer of the Cocoa Board, and that was contained in a statement issued just some minutes ago. I should say that he'll be heading to Cocoa Board as the chief executive officer over there. And talking about some appointment also, Honorable Kofi Adams, the member of parliament for Buem constituency, has also been nominated as the sports minister designate. That's for the sports and recreation ministry. This appointment follows a wave of media speculation that had suggested various candidates, including former MP for Ododio constituency Neil Ante Vanderpoel, and even the now chief executive officer of Cocoa Board, Dr. Randy Abe. Now, a statement by the spokesperson for the president, Mr. Felix Okuchukwache, earlier today confirmed Kofi Adams as the nominated sports minister, pending vetting and approval by the Parliamentary Appointments Committee. He will be replacing former sports minister Mustafa Yusuf and will become the 27th person to occupy that office since 1979. Well, coming up at 8 p.m. on Hits 103.9 FM is a live commentary of the game between Liverpool and Lille in the Champions League. Well, ahead of that game, head coach of Liverpool, Arne Slot, has been speaking.
The most important thing every time we go out there, especially in front of our own fans, we want to win a game. And with this new setup, you think that ending up number one is the best position to end up with. But because it's such a strange league table, because, for example, I think I'm right, if I look at Paris Saint-Germain, every week I think they have the hardest team to face. So they are quite low on the table, which is not their quality, but they are low. So maybe if you end up number one, you can face them. So then it's a disadvantage. So I'm not looking at the league table in a way of, if we are number one, we probably have the most easy team to face. The most important thing every time we go out there, especially in front of our own fans, we want to win a game. And with this new setup,
Yeah, that's the Arne Slot, head coach for Liverpool, ahead of their game tonight against Lille. Live commentary on Hits 103.9 FM. There's also Barcelona in action against Benfica, and tomorrow will be Real Madrid and Arsenal all in action, and we'll bring you updates on all of those games. Well, Kenneth, do you support Liverpool?
No.
You're a Manchester United fan?
A former fan of Manchester United. Now I don't support any team.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Very
a few days ago, you were excited United were winning.
That was a few days ago. That's a long time ago.
So since you lost to Brighton, you become a former
Oh, they
fan.
did? I have no idea. I've not been following. Thank you very much, Razak, for bringing us the latest in sports. Let's now take you to Obuasi, because families of the deceased miners in the military shootout in Obuasi in the Ashanti region are demanding justice and thorough investigations to ascertain circumstances leading to their deaths. Now, dozens of the families gathered at the Obuasi Government Hospital in the Ashanti region to solemnly pay their last respects to relatives killed during a clash with the military. Now, 7 of the illegal miners gunned down during the violent clash at an abandoned concession were released to the families for Islamic burial. This follows the conclusion of pathologists' investigations into the cause of death. let's take you live to the Ashanti region and speak to my colleague Emmanuel Bright Kweku, who has been to Obuasi. Emmanuel, you've been to the family house of some of the deceased miners. What are their concerns?
Kenneth, in fact, I've been to the deceased house, and when we went there, right after the burial service, we went there and engaged with the family. It was rather a solemn moment in the family house. And generally, their concerns have been that they want justice served. They want who ordered, actually, the commander. According to the narrative they gave us, they explained that somebody gave an order to open fire on the illegal miners. And so they want to know who ordered the commander of the military to open fire on their relatives. So we can take a listen to the wife, that's Salamatu, of one of the deceased, and also the father, Saidu Amagi.
Omakumye kunufu ne kwa abramu wi ahwe omo fa ahwe o ma anti se gold bi kuta wo mo ana o mako kuma obi soja ni bie no so omukun no ho o mpese ye ne bra na o mutimi ma bra we meto ye so se ye ne fight you e wo so musu ye bibi na emom ye de yasem yi na be mo tufo nyankopon ne be die no omuntam asem amaye se nyame ne pa nipa ko ma order se wo mun shutu so omunye de no nyankopon hata suri ele be jaji enu omuntam asem amaye nyankopon ka ban na koma no njire ye chi no mboa yen ya de sredi nyina no omutimi hwe ye mamma yen
me pa sisi ameto no na kini nkoi afirade cause de odie jame no nya de ambetumi ahwe na se de soja polisi ye kura enye so se nimpa ekopena no aduane mo ma koto epa o chaw epa mo chaw kuto pa mo chaw ti wo kura na mo kona se nimpa no opagya ne sa obe shutu no ti se government befe no aka ho asama o ve no aka ho asama yi maye na minim se enye kwa bibiwom so beyi ayuba ye call aw be kase mo fire no se bibi firi bebi na aba ti sa nipa no call na eye no sa nipa no jo call ye no wo se aban enini di no kire nipa kra o ma no kwan se wo ma wo mo fire no na aban no fa wo mo fa mra kwan so maye.
Emmanuel, they spoke in Tree, briefly explain what they said to us.
Right, so the first woman, that's the wife, she says that they should help us. Those who killed our husbands should take care of us, and because we have no one, if the government comes to our aid, it will help us. And so we are pleading the government to take care of our children. And how do we even take care of our children? That's what she says. She says she hawks, and so she wants the government to come to their aid so they could cater for their family. And the man also explained that he is mentally unstable as we speak right now. And so what the soldiers did, according to him, he says it's not right. Even at war, why would you even kill somebody who has his hands in the air and pleading with you? Why would you even shoot them? The person who called the commander to open fire on the miners must be brought to book. And so that's what the two of them said in this report that we have.
Okay, we know that 7 of these 9 bodies have been buried. What is the current state of the 2?
All right, so for the 2, they are currently at the Obuasi Government Hospital morgue as we speak now. We understand that the pathologist is here to conduct an autopsy on them. And because these 2 are non-Muslim, the families have requested that their bodies will be preserved for some time until they also have their own burial for them. And so we have also been speaking with the medical superintendent for Obuasi Government Hospital. That's Dr. Kojo, and he has been explaining the process so far.
We took a lot of notes, and he also gave some of the, at least bits of the notes to the police. But you have to sit down and write a very comprehensive report that the forensic people can deduce something from. So it will not be in the next few days. It will be part of the comprehensive report that will be submitted to the security agencies as requested by the presidency.
Emmanuel, there was a directive from the president earlier. We know, or do we know, if Anglo Gold Ashanti has made payments towards the treatment and burial as was directed by President Mahama?
When I spoke with the medical superintendent, that's Dr. Kojo, he explained that they actually, at their end, they are yet to compile a full expenditure on the consumables they use in case taking care of these deceased bodies and even those who were injured. And so they are going to compile everything and then submit it to Anglo Gold Ashanti for them to make the necessary payments as was directed by the president. And so for now, they have not received any payment from Anglo Gold. But until they compile all the expenditures they made during the medical treatment, that's when they'll be able to submit it to Anglo Gold Ashanti and then make payments for it. Kenneth.
Emmanuel Bright Kweku there bringing us details from Obuasi in the Ashanti region. Thank you very much. But let's head to Oti region now, Fostina.
Indeed, an operation conducted in the Oti region has resulted in the arrest of 50 individuals linked to the resurgence of conflict in Nkwanta. The suspects will undergo screening before being arraigned. The National Security Coordinator, DCOP Osman Abdul Razak, visited Nkwanta to assess the situation, engage with traditional leaders from the feuding factions. Now, speaking on the ongoing efforts, the Oti Regional Police Commander, Alex Akwa, revealed that the renewed conflict has so far claimed 6 lives, injured 10 others, and led to the destruction of 12 houses and a shop.
Although this issue has been going on since 2019, when it comes, security will move in, it will go down, rest for about a year. Another year, getting to October, it will roll over again and start. So since 2023, October, this current one has been going on. There's been curfew in, and the curfew has come down. So starting from 13th, the current one, someone will ask, what is the reason for the conflict? It is basically ownership of land in Nkwanta. There are 3 different feuding groups, the Chode, Chala, and then the Adele. All of them are claiming ownership of Nkwanta. All the 3 groups also have their traditional capitals. The Adeles have it in Tutukpene, the Chala, Odome, and then the Achode is a Shiari. But they all claim ownership of Nkwanta. So if one group wants to do something in Nkwanta, like a festival, the other group feels that it is using that festival to claim ownership of the town, and that creates security problems for us. So on that note, let me move to the current one. On 13th of January 2025, a group of Muslims went to the cemetery to bury a departed colleague. Whilst at the cemetery, gunshots were fired. No one was injured. No one suffered casualty.
Well, the National Security Coordinator, DCOP Abdul Usman Razak, expressed concern over the persistent chieftaincy and land disputes in the country, emphasizing the need for enhanced collaboration among security agencies to address these challenges.
They need to take the correct channels to resolve them, and we will support peacefully. But if there is a recourse to violence that seems to harm the individual or the ordinary citizen, we will not sit aloof. And as a coordinator, believe me, I'll be in the trenches with you. I will not say go and fight the battle and then sit in Accra. You would find me with you. I'm also looking forward to you dealing with those you've arrested in connection with some evidence relating to crimes having been committed, really prosecuted. In fact, the investigation must be crisp so that we get it right. And that will serve as a deterrent to others. My brother General, I think the mere fact that they were on the hills and then firing back at our people means that we must go after them. Please, I want those groups arrested.
Well, Maxwell Agbawa was on the ground all day for us. He joins us in the studio with more. Maxwell, what exactly happened on the ground?
Well, we
went there together with the chief of the army staff and other top security officials. We went there in a chopper, so we had an aerial view of the Nkwanta community itself when we got there, and you could clearly see that the town is deserted, and on ground also you could see that all shops, a lot of the shops, I think 98% of the shops that we saw there, were closed. There are a lot of security personnel on the ground, joint military and police personnel on the ground who are on top of issues, ensuring that the peace that they're enjoying now, the same income that they're enjoying now, continues for a very long time. But the OT regional police commander said that it's an uneasy calm that can, escalate at any point, in time, but they are on top of the issue. And clearly, when we went to the ground, when the National Security Coordinator and the Chief of the Army Staff interacted with the joint military and police who are present on the ground, you could clearly tell that morale was high, on the ground, and they have the situation, under control. Earlier today, like you mentioned, there was an operation where 50 people, were arrested. The Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Bismarck Kwesiunwuna, has been speaking, and he is happy about the collaboration between the police and the military to ensure that stability is, peace is brought back, to the area. We can hear from him right now.
The opportunity to visit the troops and then give them the necessary encouragement that they need to reassure them that the government and the military high command are supportive of their efforts here. But now I'm here, it's very important for me to commend all the security agencies for the level of collaboration that exists, and I want to encourage you to deepen that collaboration, because it's only this collaborative approach that will create the necessary synergy that will enable us to achieve the objective of creating the atmosphere that will make it possible for the necessary dialogue that will enable long-term solution to the conflict here. So I want to commend all of you and to urge you to continue to cooperate among yourselves, the military, the police, the other security agencies, and the intelligence community, so that going forward we will be able to help to create the atmosphere that will foster, the necessary conditions for whether it's negotiations and mediations.
You heard the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Bismarck Kwesiunwuna.
Right, and in a few minutes, the vetting of the Minister-designate for the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Na Momo Late, will be coming up shortly. But that's it for tonight. My name is Kenneth Gyasi.
And I'm Fostina. Sarfo. Good evening.